Looking for a podcast that inspires and uplifts? Join the Nathaniel Noble Jr. podcast, where we explore life's experiences and share meaningful conversations with amazing guests. New episodes arrive every Sunday at noon Pacific on all major platforms, or visit MrNoblePodcast.com, where we talk about life because it happens to everyone.
Welcome to the Nathaniel Noble Jr. podcast, where we talk about life because it happens to everyone. Thank you for joining your host, Nathaniel Noble Jr., bringing you real people, real conversations, and real perspectives to help you grow and stay inspired. So sit back, tap in, and let's talk about life.
You're listening to the Nathaniel Noble Jr. podcast.
Welcome this week's guest on the Nathaniel Noble Jr. podcast. This guest here, he found me, so he scheduled in, and so we're gonna bring him on in and see what's going on. So I want to introduce to some and present to others, Mr. Rick London. What's up, Rick?
Hey, good morning. Thank you for having me, Nathaniel.
Yeah, you can call me Nate.
Nate, thank you for having me, Nate.
Sure, yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for somehow you found me, and here we are. So apparently you got something you want the world to know, and we want to find out too.
Yeah, a little bit, sure.
Yeah, so where's the start? Tell us a little bit about yourself and what you're trying to present.
So I'm a first-time author. Came up with an idea for a book about a year and a half ago, and then I started the process last year. It's a book called The Dancing Wolfman, Volume 1. It's about a high school music teacher by day who's a DJ by night. Music is deep in his life, deep in his soul. Gets bitten by a wolfman and then becomes a wolfman. But through the power of music, he doesn't become that vicious, brutal killer that we're used to seeing in movies and reading in books. Instead, he becomes a savior, a protector of sorts. That's the main premise of the story.
So he's a good guy. Turned out to be a good werewolf. That's different. Yeah. That's different than all the rest of the stories of werewolves. You're scared of them. Yep. So what was the character name?
So the main guy, my protagonist is Titus Wolf. Again, he's a high school music teacher, and he became a teacher because as he grew up, being around music, both his parents are in the music. His dad was a sound engineer, and his mom worked at a record shop, like Tower Records. I thought about her because in San Francisco there's a famous Tower Records. It's since been closed. Yeah. It was on Bay and Columbus, right? It was just a famous spot. People just go there, and sometimes you see celebrities in there, and just people buying records and tapes and all that. Before CDs and all that. Yeah, it was just a great place to go. Just a bunch of music, vinyl. So that reminded me of my earlier youthful times, and so I'm like, hey, I'm gonna have her like working in a record shop like that, right? So as Titus grew up, his parents were always playing music. He learned how to dance through them. They've always had great parties, people dancing, just having a great time. So as he grew up, he became really good picking up musical notes, almost like a music prodigy, right? And then people would ask him for advice on dancing. He became a really good dancer and all that. So music is really deep in his persona per se. And so I made it that way. So when he gets bitten and he goes through that first transformation, and the first transformation, he's still a wolf. He's still a wolf man. He's got the instinct. He's about to kill his first victim, but then he hears music in her earbuds, right? Because she's jogging in the woods. He's about to brutally, tear her to pieces. But he hears music in her earbuds, and all of a sudden, his consciousness goes back to who he is, and he's a teacher. He's not a killer. He's never killed before, and he's a morally grounded guy. He believes he sticks to who he is. Kind of an example was, I wrote in the book that he's very gifted with music. He's physically gifted. He was a track star in high school and in college, but because he got so much out of people coming up to him and asking him, "Hey, how do you do this? How do you make this dance move? Hey, how do I play this instrument? What about this musical note?" That teaching became it became part of him. He loved that. He could have done anything else. He could have made a whole lot more money doing something else, but he loved teaching. He loved that aspect of just giving his advice and people taking it. And so when he hears the music, in her earbuds, all of a sudden, his conscience goes back to who he is, and he's just, he's like, okay, what am I going to do? So instead of killing her, he just looks at her and takes off. And I made it where, she's a beautiful woman, right? She's a knockout. And so he's smitten by her. So he's like, man, I didn't kill her, but it's like, let me go back to the next full moon and see if she's going to be there. And then I wrote it where she does the same thing. It's like, what the hell was that? It's like, what did I just see there? Is that a wolfman? Those things don't exist. That's only in movies and books, right? So she goes back, and, then that relationship starts, right? From the second one, it's part of it already started, but the second one is the second transformation where he really shows her what he's about even more. So, yeah, I'm not going to give the rest away. You guys got to have to go read the book.
Cool. Yeah. So what you do before the book? And then, like, where did the idea of the book come from? This is a story you always had in your head and you just wanted to get off.
Yeah, it came from a memory back in Super Bowl Sunday, 1998. It's January 25th. It was a great Super Bowl. It was the one where, Denver's first Super Bowl win. That's against the Green Bay Packers. It was a really great game. And I was living down in Fremont, which is in southern part of the Bay Area, San Francisco Bay Area. I don't know if you know the Bay Area. So I had to go drive to my friend's house. He invited me to go come watch the Super Bowl. And I drove through this country road when I got off the freeway. It's called North Vasco Road. It's out in the Livermore Valley. It goes up about 7-8 miles to a little town called Oakley. Beautiful road, January. It's a sunny day. Green hills, green rolling hills, cow pastures. I had to slow down because there was a cow near the road, and I slowed down. I was almost going to pet it. Cow was right there, and I'm like, man, how awesome was that? So I kept driving, and then at night after the game, it was dark, and so drove back, but this time, it was really eerie. It had that eerie look, right? Kind of like a where you would see in a werewolf movie. Low cloud cover, kind of foggy, right? Barren field, and I'm driving, and I'm like, man, it'd be perfect for some kind of creature to pop out, like a wolfman or something, right? So that memory stayed with me, and then it popped up again about over a year and a half ago, when I was hanging out with some friends on a Friday night. We're talking about old friends, and I remember that day, going to my friends to see the Super Bowl, and then drive back, and all of a sudden, man, just the werewolf again popped up, and I'm like, it kept lingering, and I'm like, wow, it's like, why, I can't get rid of this memory. So I'm like, the next day it was still there, and then the day after it was still there, and it just kept staying. I'm like, man, I got to do something about this. So I tried a few things, tried to create some videos, couldn't quite make them work, and I said, let me switch gears here, and it's like, let me come up with a book, So then I wrote an outline, the characters' names, what they would be, and then I had to come up with a gimmick. I didn't want to write another werewolf story, another typical werewolf story, right? Like you said, they turn into werewolf, and then they start viciously killing everybody, and then they start getting hunted, and it doesn't end well for anybody. So I'm like, what am I going to do here? So my son, Nate, he's 16. He was 15 at the time, and he's learning how to play the trombone because he's got a friend who plays the trombone. So his friend coerced him to like, hey, why don't you try the trombone? And so he tried it, and he put the case against the wall behind me, and I kept looking at that case, right? And I'm like, hey, music. I love music, right? I grew up like everyone else. I grew up in the 70s listening mostly to funk and R&B. They called it soul music back then. They don't call it that so much anymore. They call it, they don't call that anymore in the good old days. I grew up watching Soul Train. I love Soul Train, American Bandstand.
Telling your age.
Yeah. So, I love music. Then as I got into adulthood and got a little older, then I started discovering other music, rock music, heavy metal, classical. Then I discovered jazz in 95. I had this driving job and I was changing channels, and all of a sudden I landed on this great jazz station here in the Bay Area, and I liked what it was playing. And maybe at that point I was ready for something new, and it just sounded really good, right? So then I discovered jazz, and which then I just really started liking classical. Started liking everything, and so that's kind of my protagonist is in that way. He loved music from everywhere. Right? He's not just stuck on one type of genre of music, and so I had to make it where music is the driving force that helps him become, makes him stick to who he is when he's a wolfman. And so he realizes that, and he's like, hey, I'm not a killer. I've never killed before, so the rest is just an adventure, finding who he is. And so, that's how I made it. And it's kind of like a metaphor, Nate.
Unlock the power of premium health at an unbeatable value with a membership at joinnatenow.com. By joining today, you'll gain access to low-cost, high-quality supplements that support your wellness journey. Plus, you'll have the unique opportunity to earn money by sharing the membership and great products with others. Whether you're focused on enhancing your own health or looking to build a side income, joinnatenow.com offers you the perfect platform to thrive. Don't miss out. Start your membership today. Take the free tour at joinnatenow.com and take charge of your health and your finances.
Like for example, I'll use myself as an example. It's like, when I've had those really bad moments, right? Do I act like an a-hole, or do I act like the good person I am and be bigger than who I am, and not blame or feel like a victim, right? It's like, hey, stick to my good morals, and so that's kind of like what the story is about, right?
So stick to your core.
You got
always
it,
go back to the
it.
core of your essence.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So the name of the book again
is The Dancing Wolfman. It's with an E, W-O-L-F-E, because that's my protagonist's last name, Titus Wolf. Of all things, right? A guy named last name Wolf becomes a wolfman, right? How ironic. So Dancing Wolfman, and then comma volume 1. I plan to keep going after that.
Okay. Maybe they turn into a movie since they don't have one like that.
I hope so. I hope so.
You got to start somewhere.
That's something I'm working on. Yeah.
Yeah, somebody might see it like, hey, we don't have that story told on film. A nice little twist. Or maybe it can be like animated or something.
Yeah, that's a great point. I'd like to also, I wrote a screenplay for one thing. I had a screenplay written because I'm making an attempt to get it discovered for a movie or series. Mm-hmm. And then later on too, I like to get, I'm working on getting an audiobook done too. I'm gonna record it myself. I'm gonna narrate it myself. So that's another project I'm working on. And then later on, as my story gets more exposure, becomes a little more popular, I'd like to collaborate with somebody and actually make a graphic novel.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, because Wolfman's an action figure, right? It'd be great to like a comic book, right? Book, graphic novels are those thick books, right? They're just thick comic books. I don't know if did you grow up with comic books? Did you like comic books when you were a kid?
Yeah, I used to collect them and swap them and stuff. way back.
Do you still have any left?
No way. I done moved too many times and changed mindsets, and it's like lost stuff, and people took it. So I don't have any.
Yeah, and you know, it's funny, Nate. I wish I had some of those comics still, man, from way back then. Those things are worth some money, man. I mean, they're you know, there's people who collect those things who will pay a good dollar for that, right?
Yeah, especially if they're in mint condition. Oh man.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, at that age back then, who was thinking long term that these will be worth something? You know, it's like a magazine. You get them so much, you just throw them away. You finish or save them or let them stack up.
Man, I had this great comic book. It was big too, right? It was Superman versus Spider-Man. It was awesome, right? It was huge. It wasn't a regular comic book size. It was like huge, and it had like, I think it was twice as long. Man, I gave it to some kid because he really liked it. I should have kept that sucker, man. That sucker today would have been like 50 years old. That sucker would have been some serious dough. And I would have just, you know, put it in a nice sleeve, you know, air seal it, you know, just put it somewhere, right? But I was a kid. I wasn't thinking like that.
Yeah, maybe the other kid kept it. Got it posted at some museums, comic museum or something, Comic-Con or whatever, one of those events they have for the comics.
I bet you, you know, there's a nice comic book store in the city. There's actually a couple. There's one that I drive by right now I'm on disability because my ankle, but on the way home from work, there's this comic book shop that I want to go check out. I'm 62 years old, man, but I still love comics, you know. And my son, I have a 16-year-old son, and you know, as I mentioned earlier about the music, but he likes graphic novels too, and I'm sure a lot of the comic book stores now carry comic books, graphic novels, manga. You know, my son loves all that stuff. I think it's pronounced manga. My apologies to your audience if I mispronounced it, but yeah, I think it's manga. So he loves all that stuff. So
and wouldn't it be interesting if you go into the comic store and you find that book, your book
someday? Wouldn't that be cool? You know, my wife and I
talking about
go to the library.
I'm talking about the Superman book that you gave to the kid. You go in there and you see it like, oh my God, that's it.
You know, I've looked for that, Nate. I've gone to comic book stores here in the city.
Yeah.
That's a collector's item right there. You know, I just, again, you know, I knew actually, Nate, deep down, I should have kept it. But, you know, silly me, man. I felt sorry for the kid and I gave him like that comic book, and I've never seen it again. It's probably in somebody's safe somewhere, right?
Yeah, there's some landfill collecting dust or something. Out with the trash. So Rick, what were you doing before the book hit your life? So,
Nate, since May of 2010, I've been working in healthcare. And right now I am a surgery scheduler. I work at a big healthcare conglomerate here in the Bay Area, the biggest one in Northern California. And so I'm a surgery scheduler. My wife actually helped me get in. I thank God for my wife. She knew people and she helped me get into healthcare back in 2010. I was laid off from my previous job doing something totally different, retail. And so through the people she knew, she helped me get in, slowly started working my way up. And now, I schedule surgeries at 3 major hospitals here in San Francisco. And so that's pretty much what I do. But you know, when I get home and I relax, you know, I'm a big reader. I love reading. I've been reading since I can't remember, maybe 7 or 8, you know, and then comic books, right? Early teenage years, comic books, and then started reading novels as my brain started comprehending stories and I could visualize, you know, everything I'm reading. And then later on, I mean, I've read a lot of fantasy and sci-fi, but in the since the early 2000s, maybe 90s, I love reading hard-boiled detective stories. I love, you're in LA, correct?
Yeah, California, Southern California.
Yeah. There's a writer named Michael Connolly. He writes the Harry Bosch novels, right? They're set in LA. And they actually made a series on Amazon. And actually, the actor who plays Harry Bosch, his name is Titus Welliver. He's part of, because I love the book so much. I love the Harry Bosch series. He's written like over 30 books on this character, right? And I love when Amazon came out, man, I couldn't wait, right? I'm like, oh man, I can't wait because I love it. My wife, she works at this doctor's office, and this doctor lent her a book. You know, because they were talking about books one day. She goes, oh, my husband loves the story. Like, he goes, hey, let me lend you this book. So she lent her this book, Michael Connelly's, called Echo Park, and I was hooked from like the first chapter, right? And so then I read all the books, and so then Amazon finally made a series about it. I couldn't wait, and the guy's name is Titus Welliver, the actor who plays him, right? And since I love the show so much, I'm like, hey, Titus, right? It was just a natural fit. So, yeah, I love Harbo detective novels. I love sci-fi, fantasy. I read a little romance in there, and I've incorporated all that stuff that I read over my life. Right? I incorporated and entered in the book. Right.
So this ought to be a good read. Good story.
Absolutely. I hope so.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you're that much into reading stories and all that stuff and seeing it play out in your mind, I think you got a good one. I'm going to believe it. I'm going to believe it, being that I haven't read it yet, but it just sounds like it's going to be a good story.
Yeah, and it's not long, Nate. It's only about 156 pages. I was going to continue writing the whole story, combine volume 1 and volume 2. Mm-hmm. But last year, as I was writing it, I wanted to launch it right around Halloween. So when Halloween came out, I wasn't done. I was like maybe halfway through it, you know. That's why, and I said, you know what, it's Halloween. You know, I love Halloween. Everybody, it'd be great to launch it right now between Halloween and Christmas, right, so it could get discovered. But it hasn't quite worked out that way, and that's fine. You know, it takes a while for books. Yeah, it takes a while for books to get discovered. You know, especially nowadays, there's so many books being published every day, right? So it takes a while, takes a lot of work. But I wanted to get it out just to introduce the character, the story, and then, you know, later on this year I'll work on volume 2, and you know, but right now I'm really working hard and getting the story out and people discovering it and coming up on, you know, talking about it on podcasts and meeting, you know, really good hosts such as yourself, and just, you know, it's a great way for people to learn about it.
Yeah. You're tuned in to Nathaniel Noble Jr. Podcast, the best podcast in the land.
Yeah, I like introducing independent authors, new authors and stuff, because I myself is an author. I got probably 10 different books I have created with the AI, you know.
That's awesome.
Just the thoughts and ideas, and so I got a slew of books, children's books and all that stuff. So yeah, I like to bring out authors. I always trip over that word, authors, and introduced it to my audience worldwide. So check out Rick London's book. I keep forgetting the name, Rick. The book,
The Dancing Wolfman, Volume 1. Hey, that's very
Wolfman.
noble of you. Just like your name, man. You bring in authors in there to talk about their books and
tell a story.
When did you come up with your first book?
Maybe 2 years ago. Yeah, it was a relationship book, and then I think it was about 2 years ago, because last year I put out about 8 to 10 books. When I get on a roll or something, it's like I'm just hitting on all cylinders, you know, why it's there, because sometimes it's a dry spell and there's nothing there. The same with my music and stuff.
Yeah.
If I'm hot, I'm hitting it. I'm putting it out before the door closes.
You got it. Get it out, right? Don't keep it in your brain, right? Share it with the
especially
world,
with the technology today, the AI and all the assistant stuff you have. It's like, okay, you don't have to keep it trapped in your brain. Let's lay it out and get it going, get it started. These tools and all that stuff, and next thing you know, you got a whole book on Amazon. Got a fleet of books on Amazon.
You go.
Anybody interested? I'm gonna do a plug. TrashTruckNate.com will put you on the Amazon site where all my books at. That's TrashTruckNate.com. Especially if you got little kids. I got some good kids books. I got four kid books. So I'll plug it myself.
Yeah. Why not? Why not? It's your podcast. Why not?
I try not to, but if I don't do it, who will?
It was absolutely well, same thing with me, right? It's like, hey, if I don't take action, and like you said earlier when you introduced yourself, it's like, hey, I don't know how you found me. Like, hey, I'm working to be found, right? To get discovered. Right. So I have to. I got to make my own luck, man. I gotta go out there and meet people, and that's the only way to do it. Because I've read, Nate. You probably read this too. A lot of people who write books, they write the book, they get it published, and then they just sit and wait to see things happen. It's like, what are you waiting for?
Yeah.
It's like, what are you waiting for? The only thing that your book's going to do if you're waiting is going to collect dust.
Yeah. So you gotta.
Book's not going to grow legs and go, meet people by itself, right?
Yeah, you got to introduce it because it's 8 billion people. Nobody know you here yet.
Yeah.
Outside of your little circle. Now you got to reach out to the world because that book is going to touch many lives, but they don't know it exists if you don't say nothing. I'll put it out there.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that's what I'm doing. I firmly believe my book is a good story. It's like, again, it's that metaphor it's not just a Wolfman story, right? Yeah. It's a metaphor. It's for people to really think about that and ask themselves too. It's like, hey, the Wolfman is just a monster, right? But we're all capable of being monsters at one point or another, right? But when presented with an intense, dramatic situation, what do? Do we stick to being the person that we are? Because I know a lot of people like that. I believe I was inspired not just by reading the book, reading a lot of books. I was inspired by people who've acted like that, who I've seen,
every day.
My colleagues, especially in the medical field, right? You meet a lot of intense situations because people are stressed. They're not well. Yeah, they're sick, and and you see all these doctors and nurses, and they're keeping their cool and composure, and they go above and beyond. My wife's like that too. She works in healthcare, so I get inspiration from my wife, from other people, from doctors, and I'm like, hey, am I capable of that? Certainly. Let me write a story about that. Something that people could relate to. It's not just a Wolfman story, right? And I did throw romance in there. He's got a love interest. The lady that he was about to. This is the last snippet I'm gonna give your audience, but that lady he was about to kill in the beginning, that becomes his love interest. He saves her, and then she ends up helping. He ends up saving him, and back and forth, and so. It becomes a strong connection, because romance is what sells. People love, romance. And I wasn't thinking about that when I wrote it, Nate. It's like, I put romance in there because I'm married, it's like, you gotta have something that gives you purpose in life, that you gotta have that rock in your life, right?
Right. So, where could they find your book there, Rick?
So, Nate, I have many places. It's on my website, which is dancingwolfman.com. You go there. There's right on the homepage, there's a button where you can buy the book. But I only sell the paperback and the hardcover. The ebook you can get on Amazon. It's on Kindle as well. It's also on Barnes & Noble, Walmart, Apple Books, Thrift Books, and like about another 12 sites. I'm working on also distributing it worldwide. I'm looking into that to get so it could be be available for people in other countries, right? Not just U.S., Canada, and U.K. Everywhere, right? Because people love to read all over the world.
Yeah, so I guess if you're on Amazon, I think you're already worldwide.
Yeah.
All they got to do is log on to your website.
Yeah, but not everybody goes on Amazon, right? There's people who are dedicated to just Walmart or Apple Books or certain people are that way, right? Not everybody. I'm a big Amazon shopper. I buy a lot of stuff on Amazon, but with books it's good to have it everywhere, right?
Right.
Reach.
Yeah, I mean 8 billion people shop different lanes, different places, stumble across it. It's been referred or recommended, but they can actually get it from your website.
Mm-hmm.
Worldwide.
Yes, worldwide. You got it. And also, if they go on my website, I got a bio of myself. I got a little video on there. I cover some of the topics you've asked me about, some of the questions. I have a bio on there, how I came up with the story, and also, you know, I ask your audience. I do this anytime I'm interviewed. You know, I ask your audience, if you do go buy the book, please leave a review afterwards wherever you bought it. You know, it's crucial for discovery, not just for the author, but for other readers, because the search engine, especially Google, you know, Google's the number one search engine, especially Google, you know, if you leave a review, Google uses that to get it ranked higher so people could discover it more. You know, those reviews really help. And you know that, right, Nate? You wrote books and you have it on Amazon. So please, if you like my book and even if you liked it or not, you know, all reviews are welcome, no matter what. Any review is welcome. So
yeah. So let's show Rick some love on the books and you know, share the website, and we'll have all those links in the show notes so you can click on them and go straight to it. Yeah. So Rick, just a part of the show where I have my guests leave some positive life nuggets. Got a couple of them?
Yeah, you know what? Just like you and me, you know what? One of the things I always leave with is, you know, man, if you're out there, any of you, you know, any of your audience are out there and they have an idea for a story, for, you know, art, sculpture, anything, maybe you're stuck or you know, think it's worth the time. You know what? If you have an idea, get it out there. Get it out of your head, right, Nate? Get it out there and create it, share with the world. Because your idea will not just help you get something out, it'll inspire somebody else. It'll give them the fuel to say, hey, you know what? I can do this. You know what? Look at these people. They're coming up with all this great stuff. Hey, I'm having a great idea, you know, because so many people, you know, they come up with a lot of stuff and they just put it by, they set it aside and then they never get to it. You know what? So if you have something good to share, children's book, a romance novel, you know, piece of art, anything, get it out there, share with the world and inspire the world. You never know who you're going to touch with your work, right?
Yep. So yeah, same with my podcast. I put it out there and Rick found it.
Yeah.
Yeah, podcast is my baby now, man. It's my 5th season, and I love it. I love it. It's therapeutic. I meet new people all around the world and introduce people to new people and made some good friends. And, you know, I hear a lot of great stories. I love it.
Absolutely. It's a great way to, you know, you have good conversations and you become friends with people. Yeah.
Yep. So, Rick, I want to thank you for coming on the Nathaniel Noble Jr. podcast and appreciate you sharing your story, your book, and we wish you much success in all your endeavors and volume 1, volume 2, through whatever. Just take it to wherever it takes you. Yeah. Appreciate you for coming on, brother.
I appreciate. Hey, Nate, thank you. Thank you for having me, man. It's been a honor and a pleasure. Thank you.
You've heard it exclusively on Nathaniel Noble Jr. podcast.
Hi, everyone. This is Rick London, author of The Dancing Wolfman, Volume 1. I'm here on this great podcast on the Nathaniel Noble Jr. podcast. It's been a great time. Man, it's been awesome. Nate's been a great host. So check out my book on dancingwolfman.com, and again, also on Amazon and Apple Books and all the, and also check out Nathaniel Noble's books. He's got some great books on that he would love you to discover as well. So have a great rest of your Saturday, everyone. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to Nathaniel Noble Jr. Podcast. The best podcast in your hands. With new episodes every Sunday at noon. Pacific on all podcast platforms. Check out MrNoblePodcast.com for more info. As always, be blessed. Don't stress, because this life is just a big old test. And you're gonna pass with flying colors if you don't quit. Peace.